Let's try to keep this short and sweet. I know I've gotten a lot of hate recently, and I'm sure I'm going to catch some flack from this one, but I will always give you my honest opinion. You can always count on that. What's up, guys? MtgJedi here. How you doing today? I was streaming last night, and it was an absolute blast. I'll also be streaming tonight. I hope you can make it out for that. We're going to be doing tons of Hydra teams, talking about all different sorts of things, doing takeovers. It's going to be wonderful. Make sure you come back on out later tonight. As for right now, we need to talk about the new fusion that's coming up, because basically all I've heard is negativity around it, and I feel obligated to give you my opinion so that you can make an informed decision and have all of the facts. I don't think that everyone is thinking about all of the possible implications that this champion brings in the game. And I took a lot of time to craft this into a short video for you. At least I hope it's going to be short. But basically, the TLDR is that this is a unique champion that could be very useful in future content. We know that Plarium said Clan Wars is coming to the game. We don't know when, we don't know what it's going to be like, but this is the exact type of champion that is OP in that type of content. Playing those type of game modes in other games, I am well versed in what type of heroes, champions, abilities shine in that content, and depending on what it looks like, this could be one of those champions. Now, some of you don't know what she does yet. We're going to go through all of that. But with me being on day 2 and everybody watching the videos yesterday, I assume a lot of people already know her kit. Also, I am going to talk about her in Arena and Hydra in this video, and probably I'll do a follow-up on the test server with her, okay? And then, last but not least, she could be good in Sand Devil, depending on what those nerfs look like. I don't know how much they're reworking that dungeon, but if it is still challenging content, then that could be your route to victory for that game mode. Let's flip over to the theater and get started. Why would you regret not doing this fusion? Because she brings something so interesting to the game. And I want to make sure that you have that information before you make your decision about the fusion. Now, if you skip her, will that be the end of your account? No, obviously not. I don't think that she's going to be a game changer like S tier. You will use her in a million different ways, but where she's good, I think she will be great. So let's talk about it. She has a unique kit, and we're going to break that down, but basically I think that she's better than she first appears, because what she does seems similar to other champions. You know, she has these shields, she does ally protection, she's got like a provoke in her kit, and you're like, okay, well, that's just like all these other champions I have. But she's not, okay? First of all, she basically gives Arbiter a built-in Swift Parry kit. And that is insane, okay? Like, I know that you think you're going to have a hard time finding a spot for her in a team, but you don't have a hard time finding a spot for Ultimate Death Knight or Necrit, which are the two champions that I could relate to her. Is she like either of those? No. She's different than both of those. But it's the same type of thing that helps your team survive. So, what does she actually do then? Okay? I think that her A1 is a lot better than we're giving it credit for, okay? I really looked. I scoured the champion database, and I cannot find a champion that has an ability like this. I can't find it. Surely you have the ability to counterattack in different ways. Surely you have the ability to provoke in different ways. But not on a passive A1. That just doesn't exist in the game. She has 2 other passive abilities, so really she gets 3 passives. And that's so powerful, okay? Now, I'm not trying to convince you to do this fusion. I'm just giving you the information so that you can make your own decision. If you still want to skip her, you have my blessing and permission. Not that you need that anyway, but you go skip her if you want to skip her, okay? But 50% chance twice to get the provoke is basically provoke. It's almost 100% chance to provoke. It's not, okay? That's not how math works. But it is, okay? And if you put her in a provoke set, then you get more chances, which I think would be her best build in a provoke set, by the way. Now, she has the 30% chance to counterattack. Is that the best? No. Is it still good? Yes. It's still good. It's still good. And, like, you're never going to use her without Arbiter. You will always use them together. Otherwise, she's useless. So I'm only going to be telling you my thoughts alongside using her with Arbiter, okay? Next, the A2, okay? The remove shield, I'm very confused about. I don't understand this ability at all, okay? So if you're thinking that ability's stupid, you're right, okay? But just ignore that. Ignore that. It's not going to come up very often, but it's there. It's just a part of her kit. It's not important. Now, if for some reason she can remove bolster, then all of a sudden this is insanely good. Okay? All of a sudden this is insanely good. I don't think it can, but if it can, that is a huge development. Okay? Because nobody uses shield set. That's not a thing. I guess there are shields that champions put on, and then that could be removed. But, like, that seems like weird timing to figure out. But, like, that might make her good for live arena, for example. The remove buff, though, that part is amazing. She removes 1 buff, which I think most of the time is going to be a chance to remove Stone Skin or getting rid of the stupid reflect damage that kills you in Hydra. Okay? Also, in this ability, she's putting a shield on you. So even if you don't remove a shield, you still have a chance to remove a buff. And even if they have no buffs, you're shielding your team. And it's an attack. So all of that is really a powerful combination. Like, tell me another champion that does all of that in one ability. I don't... Maybe there's another champion who's similar to that, but I don't think so. The A3... I have a hard time liking these types of abilities, okay? You get ally protection and strengthen, which is super powerful. That's basically enough to keep your team from dying. Ally protection, strengthen, and then the shield. It's like, what else do you need for survivability? Okay. I just, it's a powerful combination, and it's a 3-turn cooldown, so you're gonna cycle through that really quickly. It's just, it's never gonna seem crazy good, but it's what's keeping your team alive. I don't know. Tell me a champion that does this, like ally protection and strengthen on a 3-turn cooldown. Does anybody actually do that in the game? Is there any champion? Hold on, let's go check. Okay, when I look up ally protection and strengthen on your champions, here's what I get. Ursaga Warcaller. That is Ursaga's ability. You're getting Ursaga Warcaller. This is like an Ursaga Warcaller Arbiter buddy. You know what I mean? Necrit, which we know is ridiculous because he does this ability here. You also have Urost, which 5 turns or 3. So that's the same exact ability, right? Yeah, okay, cool. So that's Urost's ability. Does that actually mean that we should be using Andrysia more? Probably. Ally protection, strengthen. So that's the Korgar ability. And then Perfect Veil, what is this? How are we getting... We have ally protection there and strengthen there. Okay, so that's not really the same. But these other champions are well-known good champions, and I keep getting told I need to make a video on this guy. This is like a new version of Korgar Deathbell. That is probably the best way to say it. Yes, that is probably the best way to say it. He's a new version. She's a new version of this champion. That is the best way to say it. So if you like him, you will probably like her. That's, I think, the best way to say it. Okay, but that's not it, though. That is not all. She does more. Okay, so in Arena, when you place the ally protection buff, it's going to give you plus 60 accuracy to herself, which means that she'll have a higher amount of accuracy for that provoke. Does that matter? No. Just ignore it. Okay. She also is going to give you 100%, or not 100%, 100 more accuracy, which is going to allow you to build her with less accuracy, or just like have an easier time being consistent with your accuracy for Hydra. And it also lets you run Arbiter on auto for Hydra, because you can just let her use her revive as a turn meter boost, and then this will reset. Okay, it'll reset the cooldown whenever she's killed. Yeah, so she'll prevent Arbiter from being killed, then reset the cooldown of that ability so that it's available so that you can use it. That's her first passive. Then her second passive is 60 resistance in Arena and 100 resistance in Hydra. So she's going to be really easy to build. You're going to be able to put all kind of stats on her because of these boosts to resistance and accuracy. And then she's also going to place that unkillable buff on Arbiter in addition to resetting her revive. So she's going to help keep Arbiter alive in two different ways. Okay? So what do you think about this kit? There's a lot of parts to this kit. This champion does a lot of things. Now, if you skip her, are you going to survive? Of course, of course. However, I do want to provide you some breakdown of what it would be like to build teams with her, so this is what I've come up with. In Hydra, you're obviously going to pair Arbiter and the Incarnate together, obviously, okay? Then you're going to put somebody like an Ugo in there for decreased defense, block buffs. You might want a weakened champion, somebody with decreased speed, so I chose Suzerain, he's cool. You have Artak as well for decreased attack, for the HP burns, all of that stuff. Cleopteryx, super underrated. Need to make a video about her. She would fit super well in this team as your Mischief tank, your Hex champion, a little bit of damage, okay? And that is a really nice setup for normal or hard Hydra, depending on your gear. And these are all champions you might have laying around, right? Like, a lot of those are free or easily accessible champions. Are they essential? No, you can interchange them too. Because what Arbiter and Incarnate bring to the team is like the combination of abilities that frees up other champions. It frees up other spots in your Hydra team. Because between the two of those, you have your Reviver, your Turn Meter Booster, your Increase Attack champion. Really, if you want to skip the weaken, Arbiter can do A1 weaken, which is powerful. Arbiter can remove buffs, right? And then alongside that, you have the Incarnate bringing the Provoke, the Ally Protection, the Strengthen, the Shields. I just like, that's so many abilities between two champions. And yes, Arbiter's good in Hydra. I know I've been the only one saying that for a long time now, but Arbiter is good in Hydra. I've used her myself. I've built teams with her for other people. She's good. Can you use your normal arena build with the Incarnate? Yes. Whatever arena build you want to use on your Arbiter, now you can use that in Hydra because the Incarnate allows you to do that. But if you're going to build Arbiter for Hydra, I like accuracy, resistance, and regen gear. So that would be my preferred build if you're building her specifically for Hydra. What else are you going to do with her? You're going to use her in Arena, okay? The two of these together, this is the Ultimate Death Knight Necrit spot. So she's going to protect your team. Do you need her every fight? No, you do not. So you want to probably put a turn meter booster in there, like Apothecary, but I like Queen Eva, Kaja, and Elva there because they do the turn meter boost, the increased speed, and the cleanses, okay? And then your nuker spot, right? So obviously you can use Kale, but you're not going to use Kale. Whatever. White King, you could do White King and White Queen, would be amazing with Arbiter and her. It's a great team setup that would work really well for live arena as well. So let me know, what do you think about this breakdown of this champion? Do you think this is a fusion that you're going to do? What do you think about my perspective on this? I hope this was helpful and valuable to you. And I hope you come back in a little bit because I'm gonna post another shard video. We're gonna go again and pull some more primal shards. Not a lot of content creators are pulling like a good amount of primal shards, so I am gonna do that for you guys and obviously myself. So I'll see you back in a bit, and then hopefully later on stream as well. I appreciate you guys. Thanks for sticking around all the way to the end. You now have all the information you need to make the right informed decision.